All right, we're going to call over to the town board meeting at the Town of Lisbon Town Hall on Monday, November 22nd, 2021 at 6:32 PM. Roll call, please.
Chairman Osterman,
Here.
Supervisor Moonen,
Here.
Supervisor Braun,
Here.
Supervisor Plotecker is present on Zoom. We've got Administrator Nicholas here. DPW Director Joe DeStefano is on Zoom, and Clerk Capuzzo to record the minutes.
I believe Linda Beal is on by phone. Linda, are you on? Linda? Maybe.
Someone is on by phone.
With their phone muted.
Linda Beal.
All right, we got Linda.
That's everybody here.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. A moment of silence, please.
We get back to your screen. I think you're gonna have to unmute.
All right, item 3 is comments from citizens present. Teresa.
Teresa Nelson, N95 W25850 Riverview Drive. Last meeting I was here, I had given you guys some written comments, and I said that there were some attachments included, which included the material safety data sheets for gasoline and diesel. And unfortunately, I realized I did not have those with me that night, so I just handed them to the town clerk just to get them in the record. We were talking off record about the conditional use permit for the Quick Trip on the corner of 164 and Q a little bit before this meeting. And I was referred to that the conditions and any motions from the meeting on November 4th, that the conditions would be included in the town planner letter, which was dated October 25th. And I have a copy of that with me. And one thing that I want to point out is that this property isn't zoned for this business. Some of it is, some of it's zoned B2, but some of it's zoned A5 mini farm, and some of it's zoned county shoreland R1. That's per your plan commission or your planner's letter. That's why I thought that there might be some more proceedings on this. And I guess, well, I can't ask, I don't want to ask a question when I'm in public comment. But I will be looking to see if there's a hearing scheduled either at the plan commission or the town board to see if Quick Trip is bothered to try and get that land rezoned. That this is the land that they're purchasing to the south of the Associated Bank property. I'll also be looking for the county. So I doubt the county's going to change their shoreland coding. That's in the area where the infiltration basins are, and I think that matters. The other thing I wanted to point out from this letter was that I had brought substantial evidence to the Plan Commission in the form of peer-reviewed studies regarding and I talked about this at the last town hall meeting, regarding the vaporization of gasoline in holding tanks, even if nobody's pumping gas or refilling the underground storage tanks. And in the data sheets that I handed to the town clerk tonight, you'll see that the vapor pressure, you'll find the vapor pressure of gasoline in that document. And this stuff is heavier than air. It has gasoline has a freezing point of minus 131 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that it's constantly evaporating as cold air from outside goes into the vent pipe as gas is being pumped, and changing the status of the gasoline within the tank. And even when it's just sitting there, it breathes and it evaporates off. Just like if you left a cup of water on your table overnight, you'd find out in the morning there's less water in the cup. Gasoline does the same thing, only it does it a lot quicker. And that stuff vents out through the vent pipes and wafts on the westerly breezes right across the street to the neighborhood that's only 165 feet away. And I think that that's a real problem because there's benzene and other carcinogens in that gasoline vapor. The letter from Verbacher on page 3 notes that Quick Trip didn't respond to that at all. All they did was talk about how they follow EPA guidelines for their gas tanks and spill cleanup. This isn't spills. This is vaporization of the fumes of the gasoline itself inside the underground storage tanks. And it's got to get out, or those tanks will blow up. That's my concern. And I think the town, I don't know if the town can be on risk for this if anybody in my neighborhood gets cancer. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. If you wish, and then we'll have Lisa Otis next.
Christy Steinmetz, W249 on 7876 Hillside Road. Here, if you guys have any questions when you get to our property, which I think was like on page 311 or something. It's like way
Okay.
at the end.
11E.
So if you guys have any questions, I'm here. So.
All right, thank you. Lisa Otis on Zoom.
Lisa on Zoom.
Yep. Hi, Lisa Otis, W220 and 9359 Town Line Road. I wanted to address the decision that was made on the Quick Trip. But more, I want to address more the process for it. I went to the last 2 public hearings, those very long hearings and meetings regarding the Quick Trip on Highway 164 and Q. In those meetings, there were numerous residents that provided substantial facts about concerns and dangers involved with putting a gas station and a diesel station of this size in an area that is on shoreland, zoned land, right near a very large subdivision, lots of people. So there were a lot of facts that were provided. Teresa had a bunch, and so did others. And it's, you know, there was no one there, no residents there saying, we're for this project, let's move forward. There were 0 people that were in support of this project. There were many residents that are very concerned and expressed their concern about putting this project in. The second meeting, more evidence was presented, more public opinion was voiced. Unfortunately, the discussion after the public hearing, the discussion on the topic, there were no questions, no comments on the materials that have been presented about the concerns that residents had for their safety and well-being. The biggest discussion was about, do they have enough parking slots? That, which, who cares about that when we're talking about people's lives? So I'm very disappointed that we were not heard. You did not have to pass or approve that CUP, that we were told that you had to do it, like you guys were over a barrel. Well, you weren't, because clearly in all of the material that was part of the packet, it was stated, unless there is a concern for the safety and the well-being of the residents of the town of Lisbon. I think that there were concerns most definitely and unmistakably brought to the forefront about health and well-being of residents in the town, and especially near that project. I hope that there is some way to relook at this. It doesn't seem right, and it doesn't seem like the town had to be over a barrel for someone else saying, well, if you don't approve this, I'm going to keep going for my CUP. I mean, that just seemed ridiculous. I don't get it. So I'm very disappointed, very disenchanted in how that process occurred and how that decision was made. Boom, just like that. I feel the decision had been made well before that second public hearing. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Lisa. Do we have anyone else on Zoom? I don't see any other hands up.
No other hands raised on Zoom.
All right. We'll then move on to item 4, which is the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered in one motion unless a town board member requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda. We have the approval of the November 8th, 2021 town board meeting minutes the cancellation of the December 27th, 2021 regular town board meeting, the approval of the 2022 Waukesha County Planning Services contract, the approval of the 2022 Lake Country Municipal Court contract, and the approval of the 2022 Lake Country Municipal Court budget. Does anyone have any comments or questions on those? Does anyone want anything removed?
I'll make a request to remove items D and E.
Take them separately?
Yes.
All right, so then if you're looking for a motion on A, B, and C together collectively,
I'll be so moved.
then Mark Moon. Is there a second?
Second.
Doug Rom. Any discussion? Is that A, B, and C? We have removed item D and E. And all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And then items D and E.
I just requested to remove them for purpose of discussion.
Okay.
I did have a question on 4D, the municipal court contract. Did not see a length of time. I see the severability clause that's stated at the end of both, but is there a term for this?
No. No, we have the ability to separate with the note, what proper notification.
And then do we know upon severability, if we sever the contract, if we retain surplus for that year, or do we lose those? That didn't really spell it out.
If we, of the monies that were collected, we would get our portion.
Any other questions on item D and E?
If, I have a question that Mark brought up, that there's no end to this agreement. Was the previous agreements with municipal court brought up like every so many years, or what were the previous agreements? What were the length of those agreements in the past?
But they were 3-year.
I don't think there's a term limit. And this is the same agreement. We all have to pass the same agreement. With all the contracted municipalities. But we have the ability to withdraw no later than August 31st of any year. So it's not a.
I mean, the previous one, I think, was 2
2 years?
years ago that we approved. But the major changes I saw in this one were location. To enforce the contract, we would change in location, and then it looked like 7501 updated as well. Did we, I mean, I know our previous staff reviewed our previous contracts have, since we're entering in a new one, has the new contract been
No. Kimberly, our prosecutor,
or
Macy.
or town attorney?
town attorney. It has not. I can check to see because he's got a majority of these municipalities, his firm.
No, just wait.
You can approve it with his review if he hasn't reviewed the rest.
Joe, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, because we're already 11 days into this agreement, it's retroactive back to November 11th.
Correct. So did you want to have approve it with or make a motion to have it reviewed by the attorney? I'm trying to think of the.
My question to that is, it's a boilerplate. All the communities have to sign on to the same exact
exact same
one. Is that correct? I mean,
That's correct.
and
So we couldn't change it for us. It would have to be everyone
You'd-
would have to change it.
if the attorney didn't like it, it would be that we just wouldn't be able to do it.
Or the attorney finds something that somebody missed. I guess I would prefer that all of our agreements get reviewed. Any legal agreement get reviewed by the attorney.
That would be my preference as well.
I'm not opposed to approving it contingent upon, but I guess at this point, would it matter if we just voted on it at the next meeting or?
I mean, as far as administrative operations of the court, is there a?
Is it going to stop the operations? You want to take it on in December, we can do that.
Yeah, I would make a motion to have reviewed by attorney and, well, I guess it'd be a tabling to December.
Motion to table D and E until
Correct.
December, moved by Mark. Is there a second?
Second,
Second by Doug, no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? 5-0. All right, accounts payable. A, authorize the payment of the Falls Auto Parts bill in the amount of $44.82.
Yeah.
The budget.
For E.
Oh, I said D and E on those.
Oh,
Did you not want to do D and E?
I think initially I took them separate, so I think I have to. motion
Would you like to
them.
do them separate? Okay. Would you like to make them?
My reason for pulling it out in the first place was just if there was any contractual issues that would lend to discussion on 4E, but I have none. So,
You'd be okay voting on E?
yep, I would make a motion to approve the 2022 Lake Country Municipal Court budget.
Is there a second to that?
So we're going to approve the budget before we approve the contract, but that, I'm just asking questions. I'm not so sure it's right or wrong. Is-
The
It-
budget is based off of things that I don't believe are even in this contract. If I'm correct.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would. Only thing that would be set would be judge.
But did somebody second it first?
I'll second it.
Okay, second discussion.
Yep,
Sorry.
yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that's affected in the contract for the
Contract to that,
budget.
yeah.
I'm fairly certain that's the case. Limiting fines and forfeitures 800.09. I'm assuming it's the same as the old contract. The only thing you noticed was 785.03 or 0.01 was different.
That was on 4D, the state statute change. Uh,
But that shouldn't change the,
75.01, but I don't think that has any substantive
to the budget.
change to the budget.
Okay. Any questions from Becky or Linda?
Nope, I'm fine.
Becky, you
I
good?
didn't hear what you guys were talking about.
We were just talking about the budget in relation to so the Lake Country Municipal Court contract versus the Lake Country Municipal Court budget. We voted to table just the contract, so now we're talking about passing the budget and whether or not the contract affected the budget at all, which the only way that would happen is if we didn't go along with it at that point.
Okay.
You had any
Okay,
questions?
understand.
Okay.
No questions.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0 on the budget. So we only tabled item D. Okay. Item 5, then accounts payable. Authorize the payment of the Falls Auto Parts bill in the amount of $44.82. Motion on that.
I can make a
I
motion.
make a motion, we accept as written.
Second.
Second by Mark. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. And item B, authorize the payment of the remaining bills in the amount of $166,784.46. Kathy?
Right, so our top expenses, are waste management at $68,313.30. Waukesha County treasurer at $65,041.14. Verbecker Associates for $10,763. Both infrastructure at $4,433.70, and Hamilton School District at $4,047.69. I ask for your approval.
Questions or comments on the bills?
I approve a motion for $166,784.46 for the bills.
All right, moved by Mark to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Doug Brown. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
The next thing in your packet is an updated non-compliance paperwork. I did send you one, but this was, sent you one this morning, but this one has been updated since. So it's in your packet for your review.
This is with,
That's all our non-compliance. It's
okay,
just
with that. Okay. Thank you. Item 6 is announcements and correspondence. We have the Merton Joint Planning Committee meeting on Tuesday, the 23rd at 6 PM at the Town Hall. And we have the Town Hall offices are closed on Thanksgiving, 11/25 and 11/26. We have a joint public hearing regarding the cooperative plan on Tuesday, the 30th at 7 PM at the Sussex Village Hall. We have a joint public hearing and plan commission meeting on Thursday, Thursday, December 2nd at 6:30 at the Richard Young Fire Station. And we have our next and only town board meeting in December on the 13th at 6:30 at the Town Hall. Does anybody else have any other announcements or correspondence? Right.
No.
Item 7, administrator report.
All right, so in the last 2 weeks, I worked on the budget and started our tax bill prep of the 307 meetings and attended the 307 meetings and the development of the 307 document, the LQF meetings and development of the document. Working on water agreement with Pewaukee. Pewaukee's discussing the possible ability for service in Lisbon. Met with the developer and reviewed with the attorney needed edits for the DA for 2 subdivisions. Finalized the redistricting plan. Had a meeting with Linda from Rural Insurance to review our liability and workman's comp policies. Met with the planners to set a transition plan. Attended a leadership class, WMCA conference and Towns Association meeting. Met with possible vendor for large scale scanning for our property files for Laserfish, and the next Towns Association meeting will be at our community room in the fire station, January 26th. I sent you all of the department's October reports. The clerk coordinated applications reviewed of planning and reviewed the planning applications, set up public hearings as needed, worked on unpaid accounts receivable to be placed on the tax roll, prepared for the 2022 election, including candidate packets and poll worker appointment lists, and she's reviewing ward boundaries after the redistricting. The highway division completed 3rd round of roadside mowing, spent the day grinding brush at the compost site, prepared the new compost site, and prepared the plow equipment for winter. Parks Division maintained grass and bathrooms in the parks, aerated all the parks, applied fresh turfus to all softball fields or all ball fields, perform preventative maintenance on all their winter equipment. DPW director worked on recycling event for 2022 and trained the parks employee Jeff to pass his CDL, which he did. And then he oversaw the work on the compost site. The sheriff had 73 traffic stops, 28 citations, 43 verbal warnings, 47 assists our fire and EMS service, 94 extra patrols, 35 911 hangups, 6 animal cases, and 19 suspicious matters. In fire, there were 9 fire calls in October, 60 medical, 11 ALS intercepts, 29 interfacility transports, 1 vehicle accident. We currently have 15 members attending advanced education, with 4 of them working on their critical care paramedic certification. All detailed reports have been sent to you for review. That's my report.
Any questions for Kathy?
No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Item 8, supervisor reports. Does anyone have anything to report?
At our last sewer meeting we had, it was just a typical normal meeting, so nothing special to report. We're right on target with everything.
All right, thank you, Linda. Anyone else?
Nope.
All right. Item 9, new business. A, discussion necessary action regarding request from William Pulvermacher for an extension to meet compliance order issued on October 20th, 2021. Lisa?
I do have Mr. Pulvermacher present on Zoom if you do have any questions for him. We received a complaint regarding the property over on Pewaukee Road. I see that I wrote it incorrectly on my sheet as Town Line Road, but it was Pewaukee Road. Mr. Pulvermacher was unaware of the conditions of the property because he does live in Illinois and has not been to the property in quite a while. His brother is the current resident there. Once Mr. Pulvermacher was made aware of the concerns at the property, he and his wife personally removed the junk vehicles and motorbikes, trimmed the grass, trees, and brush, and they did contact a cleanup company to remove trash and bring the remainder of the property into compliance. Inspector Olhafen did do an inspection of the property at that time, and he found no further violations other than 1 remaining vehicle that's in the backyard that could not even be seen from the street. Mr. Pulvermacher has written a request for a 60-day extension to wait for the weather conditions to change so that the ground hardens up just enough so they can get a truck back there in order to pull out that vehicle.
Questions or comments from the board? Doug or Mark?
I did check out the property. It was in very bad condition prior to this complaint. They've done extensive work to bring it into compliance, and I'd be in favor of granting an extension. I don't know that 60 days is necessary. I think from my understanding of the request, it was due to the ground being soft. I think 30 days might be acceptable, but I'm able to 60 days due to the great effort that's been placed to property in compliance.
Doug?
I also have driven by the property, and I would agree that significant change, and if he needs the days to do this, I don't see that being a problem.
Becky or Linda, anything?
I
No,
don't have,
no questions.
William Pulvermacher, anything you'd like to add?
No, just everything I had to say was in the letter. And so I just, I apologize for it getting out of control there. I'm not sure why exactly, but I'm working on making sure it doesn't happen again. So
Thank you. 30 days is going to be okay?
the only reason I asked for 60 is because I do live in Illinois, and if I have to personally do it, it's very difficult to guarantee I can do it in 30 days. That's all. So if that's what you need or want from me, I'll have to make it happen. But 60 days was giving me a breathing room. That's all, with the holidays and everything else. I have to travel with my wife to Michigan this week, and I have to travel the following week for work again. And so that's just why I did it.
Okay.
Just gives me some breathing room.
I'd make a motion to grant the request for a 60-day extension for the non-compliance order issued October 20th, 2021 for William Overmacher.
Moved by Mark Moonen to approve the 60-day extension. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Doug Brown. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
No discussion. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. So you have your 60 days, William.
All right, thank you very much. What do I do when I have the car removed? How do I just send?
Bill, you can just send me an email and Brian will go and verify.
Okay. Again, I thank you guys for your help and patience with this.
Thank you for getting it cleaned up.
All right,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Item B, discussion necessary action regarding approval of the proposed 2022 budget.
Right in front of you, you have the general fund budget, the capital fund budget, compost, debt service, and stormwater.
Any questions or comments on the budget?
No,
No questions.
No changes since we presented.
Then make a motion to approve the general, capital, debt service, and stormwater and compost 22 budgets as presented.
So
I
moved.
so,
Whoever.
Joe seconds, or Joe made the motion, Doug seconded. All right. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Item C, discussion necessary action regarding the newspaper for legal notices and publications.
I just wanted to get a feel from the board, because we have currently been publishing in 2 newspapers because the distribution between the Lake Country Now and the Northwest Now splits the town right down the middle. So we are paying to publish in 2 newspapers. We've run into some struggles with publishing deadlines because it only publishes on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So we generally have to publish notices 6 days before they technically have to be in, so that we are able to meet statutory requirements. There are another number of other and available papers that do meet the statutory requirements for publishing, and wanted to get the board's feeling on how you felt about switching to the Freeman.
Discussion?
What is the cost of the current practice?
It varies depending on the type of notice, but it would be less if we publish elsewhere because we would only be publishing in 1 paper instead of 2. So any notice we publish, we get charged double.
Do we have a general idea of what we spend on publication?
To be
I
perfect,
think they were $175, weren't they, Lisa?
some of them are, it depends on the type of notice, how long it is, whether it's a display notice or if it's just a small public hearing line notice or an election notice. And that varies year to year, month to month, depending on how many public hearings we have for plan commission submittals. It changes even years versus odd years for elections.
Mm.
And with only having been here a year, I don't have a good feeling for what those 4-year separate totals are at this point, because they have not been tracked by line item.
So does, Lisa, does one newspaper cover more than the other?
No, it pretty much splits
Home?
the town right down the middle.
Oh, boy. I don't think we have a choice then. Do we?
Well, you can stay with your regular practice or you can move to the Freeman. That's what she's suggesting or proposing. We just didn't want to make the move without, since we're both new, we didn't want to make the move to the Freeman and find out that you guys really, really wanted it to be at in these other two papers.
I think the board always approves the two posting places anyway, so that's good.
You should.
Yeah.
We do not have to declare an official newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have on every page on our website where we put the public notices, we would make a point of saying, hey, we are now publishing in X paper instead, beginning on this date.
Sure.
This really comes into play when we're dealing with items that we have to put on the plan commission that can be for publications. And then we have to go out another month. That means that the whole, we're at a point where we either put it in for publication, and then if it doesn't pass the plan commission, then pull it out. Because otherwise it would take us 2 months to get any of our hearings that require that many insertions. It would require that. So right now what we're doing is we're putting the document into the newspaper, and if it doesn't pass the plan commission, then we have to call them and say, don't publish it, because there's no other way of getting that in the paper within the 30-day time frame, because the paper is only prints on Wednesdays, once a month, whereas the Freeman gives
Once a
us once a week. The Freeman gives us the Tuesday through Saturday ability. So if it passed on Thursday, we could still get it in the next Thursday's publication.
And they also have a shorter time frame for submissions.
I have no objection.
Yeah, I guess I don't see the impact for somebody who would just be going to the paper for public notices. I personally wouldn't go to those two, so either read them at town hall or online.
Online, I think it's predominant.
Right.
But right now statute says we have to put it in the paper yet. We do just that.
Okay. Anything for you, Doug?
I would say most of the people are getting their information online. But the law says this, and whatever is easiest for administration, that's what I'm for.
Sure.
That's-
Becky, anything for you?
Nope, doesn't matter to me.
Linda?
No, I agree with Doug.
All right.
Is there a time on this that it would take effect? Is this a 2022?
I would probably start it in December. I mean, we do have some things that are going to be going to the paper within the next week or two. So if the board is okay with it, I would like to make the switch now, because there's a little bit of breathing room as far as when we have to do the submissions, especially with the holidays coming up.
With that, you think there are a few people that are pretty religiously looking at these other two papers now?
I truly don't know.
So would there be, like,
There's really no way
do
to
all of
track
them
that.
for 1 month, overlap them, and then make a notice in the notices that we're only gonna be doing it in the Freeman from here on in?
We could do, and I did that when at another location I worked, where we transferred from the Journal Sentinel to the Freeman. And what we did was in the Journal Sentinel, we said we put a line in that it was posted in the Freeman. So we let them know that our document we have a document in there. This is the notice for this. It is posted in the Freeman and online, is what we said. So that kind of gave notice to the people that are normal paper watchers.
Yeah, if there is a certain amount of population that really counts on that, we could notify them that it's now gonna be in the Freeman from now on,
Mhm.
or online or whatever.
Right.
Could overlap them for 1 month, maybe 2 more. I
I'm
don't know.
more than happy to do so, and I can put something on the website as soon as tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the people reading the newspaper may not be our readership going on our website every day.
Yeah, probably not. But I could still send out that resident information blast from the website, which
Okay.
is a nice option.
Does anyone wish to make a motion on this item? second? Mark, second by Doug Brown. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi,
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item D, discussion necessary action regarding vacation time carryover requests.
Okay, so earlier in the year, when we did our employee manual, we made the change that on our vacation time, that it was, we no longer waited and put vacation time in the, in January, we started the accumulation, so we made that change, which makes it difficult for everyone to use all of their vacation within the limits of our policy. So right now, the fire department can full-time can keep 144 hours as a rollover, and the rest of staff can keep 80 hours. This year, because this is our first year, we're seeing every one of our employees are over the allotted amount, and I'm asking for a 1-year reprieve from the policy to allow the staff to catch up on this accumulation. So in order to have vacation next year, they have to roll things over, and they're not going to get they get new vacation accumulated on every check every month. So,
This was part of what we thought we were going to be doing.
right.
This isn't a surprise.
Okay. I just wanted to,
At least it wasn't for me, I guess I knew.
I wanted to make sure that everyone, you know, that you were okay with me changing the policy for this year.
The only question I had was, I know we talked in our preliminary meetings about this. Essentially, there's gonna be 2 different wages created. There'll be the 2022 wage and the one that they would have had the vacation under. Is there gonna be 2 different rates that the
It's just
rollover?
time off. It's not paid out. It's just time off.
Can they get paid out if they don't use it at the end of the year?
At the end of the year, I don't think you can get paid out. I don't think that was in our policy.
Use it or you lose it.
You get, yes, you lose it you don't get a carryover. So last year, I had 2 people that needed the carryover, and I came to you and asked you to allow that carryover over the allotted amount, that policy over, but they don't get paid out from if they get, the only time they would get paid out is if they were leaving employment. Otherwise, they use it or lose it if it's over 80 or over 144, depending on their job.
So if they left next year, they technically could get paid out at the higher rate, but as long as they
True.
used it, it would be.
Yeah, it's just time off.
How many people does this really affect?
Well, every full-time employee right now has time over because we did the accumulation this year. So instead of
Oh.
dumping in January, we put it in July, and they've been accumulating. And they're trying to take their vacation, but they can't catch up on, you know, a half a year's vacation. So
And that still may occur again where they won't be able to catch up.
I think by
Depending.
next year, they should be able to catch up because they're not going to get anything dumped in January. So they just get their regular accumulation. So it'll get them their time through. I can't say absolutely, depending on,
They'll have
it
to,
really has to be
they'll have to.
they're supposed to, yes,
Well, if they don't,
if-
they are losing it
right.
If- in 2022.
Right.
It's except for
80 or
the, except for the
144.
allotted amount,
Right,
it will be gone.
right.
So this rollover to 2022.
Mhm.
It has to be used by July,
No,
End
by
of
the
year.
end of the year.
but they're gonna get a new dump in July.
They don't get any jumps.
It's accrual now.
It's an
it's
accrual.
so
They
much a
get something
month.
on their check every
This was
check.
just the pain and suffering of when we switch from one to
Yep.
the other.
I had a note, when we were talking about this earlier, that would they get 2 different wages then? I didn't have,
No, it's
another
just
note.
time off.
So we do run the risk if somebody leaves, they could get paid out at the new wage, but
Is there a way to track that so that doesn't happen? I mean, For some employees, that may be a substantial benefit, should they separate.
I think at the end of the year, we can keep track of what they had at the end of the year. We can I can get a printout of that, and then if they
We could
leave, we
figure it out
know
if
what
that
it
week.
was. We could figure it out at that point.
And then when they take vacation, it comes out of that bank
That first
before
bank,
their earned bank of this year?
Right.
Or
Mhm.
again,
Last year's,
first in, first out?
right.
Yeah, we've been down that road.
That's right.
Would that matter if they lose it all?
Well, if I had 4 weeks and 2 weeks of it was in this arrangement, and the other 2 weeks was mine, I would, I'd use up the 2 weeks that's gonna be at a lower pay or,
Yeah,
or,
it's 2021. You
or
use
I,
that
or
for-
it wouldn't matter to me. If I was thinking of leaving in July. I
But
want
they
to
don't
take
get
my
to choose
vacation
anyway.
in February, I would take the 2 weeks that are in this bank at a lower rate. That would be my vacation, and I'd make sure that the 2 weeks,
Wow.
that the 2 weeks that were left were at the higher rate.
Right,
For
If-
separate.
right.
If you were thinking of leaving, if that's your concern about somebody leaving, you know. I don't suspect it adds up to just a lot.
I think that's where it might come into play is more the fire department. Actually,
Was,
I mean, that's where it would most likely
it's
come
probably
into play.
mostly gonna play for the fire.
Yeah,
But we'll at the end of the year do a report on what's left over from 2021. And then if anybody separates, we'll
You'll be able to
visit
track
what
it.
it is.
okay. Any questions from you, Becky,
No,
Linda?
No question.
Anyone else? Other Mark? Is there a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5. E, discussion necessary action regarding play equipment at Stone Family Park. Still there, Joe?
Joe, you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, now we gotcha.
Okay. So we're just working to get this basically signed the proposal. As I stated in my letter there, we don't have to commit to any dollar amount at this point or spend, cutting a check or anything. It's literally just to lock in the 2021 pricing. They warned us that in December, they're gonna bump all their prices up 10%. So we're looking at that going over $200,000 pretty quickly. So it's basically just to lock it in. We've worked with them in the past. They're not asking us to put any down payment, and they did even let us know that if something comes up where we do go a different direction or change our mind with something, we're not locked in, but at least they have paperwork with our signature on it saying we signed it before December, so our pricing will hold. So it's really pretty simple. We'll come back with a better detail going down the road, but this is just a hold pricing, so we're safe for next year.
Anything for you, Becky? Linda?
No question.
Doug, anything?
Just to reiterate, Sussex is cooperating with this, and the money that we're freezing is our half. Say-
Correct.
Yes, echo what's in the report that 174,000 for North.
For some reason, it's hard for me to hear Mark.
You hear me now?
Yeah, try it.
I just echo what's in the report that.
Yeah, sorry, it is. I don't know. I can hear Doug good, Joe good, Kathy. I cannot hear Mark.
Mark was just emphasizing that Northland Recreation is the lowest bid.
Can't hear me either.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Which mics? I said I just, for the third
there you
time.
go.
I
Yeah,
echo
I
what's
can
in
hear you on
the-
that one.
I echo what's in the staff report, that Northland is the cheapest, but in the long run, it would cost the town probably the most money.
Correct. And the warranty also is a big thing where with Lee, they're gonna cover the warranty of any of that floor, the port in place and all that'll be taken care of, which nobody else was offering a warranty, which is huge. So that port in place is not a cheap date where it's that rubberized flooring for safety purposes, obviously, and very cosmetically pleasing. And they cover all that. So that was the additive that you really don't see the cost written anywhere, but it's pretty large.
Is that written into the contract too, Joe? And how long is the warranty?
We are working with them. I know it's in it. I don't have it a timetable. I talked to Mike about it. This all kind of happened so fast. Plus, some of you know, some of you don't know. I'm not in right now. Thank you to COVID. So I've been working from my house on it, and we'll get it written in there. It's just I needed to get this done so we could get it signed before December here.
Okay, I'm in favor.
Motion on the side.
I'll make a motion to approve the play equipment at Stone Family Park with a locked-in rate to the recreation for $182,000 and no cents.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Item F, discussion and necessary action regarding updates to park committee duties and procedures.
Supervisor Brahm had requested this to be put on the agenda.
Went to the parks meeting and they would like to have this document put into the town ordinance that creates their committee. In previous meetings with Kathy and like they were given like a couple of bullet points of how it really could be legally done, what it is. They wanted to use the old one and kind of revise it a little bit. If you read through it, it really is the park committee giving recommendations and has always afforded all of the actual authority to the town board. It does lay out what, you know, what their purpose is and what they're supposed to be doing. Through the conversations when I was down there, the one thing that we did change is they wanted to have all the nominations for the park committee nominated by them, and I said that wasn't gonna fly. So they did put in the thing about that a person could come from large or from the committee. I mean, their point is really isn't a lot of interest openly that comes to that committee. They usually end up having to kind of recruit somebody and nominate them forward, which is fine. So they wanted it brought forwards for your consideration. I told them that there might be, that you might want to see an attorney look at it all. I don't know if that's done. When you read through it, there's really, it gives them a lot of what they should be doing and what they can be doing. It doesn't. Power.
Does it identify certain funds that money would go?
Yeah.
This one's changed. I would suggest this table until we codify our code. That about 2 months ago, you did approve duty for section of the Parks Committee. This portion, the mission, and how the structure is created may change when we go through. So I think that's to do with that.
Comments or questions? You, Becky? Hear me, Becky? You're on mute, Becky.
Okay, no, I didn't hear what you said, Joe. I heard what Doug said and I heard what Kathy said.
Okay. Do you have any comments or questions as far as? like
No, I don't.
you open it to
Uh-uh.
me? No comments or questions?
No.
Linda?
I have a question. I was having a hard time hearing Kathy. Is she saying she wants to table it until next month? And if that's the case, why again?
Okay, so I had suggested we table until we actually do our codification of all our code. We'll be doing that once we become a village, and our, a couple months ago, you already approved duties for the park committee, so they could keep doing their work, but the mission statement and the creation of the town committee may change, or the Parks Committee may change when you become a village. So I'm asking for it to be tabled until we get to that point.
Well, I'm just curious, why is it changed when we become a village?
You might want a different structure. How the appointments are made. Terms.
Okay. Okay, understand.
Doug?
I don't see anything wrong with that opinion of doing that. They're operating the way they always have anyway. I think they feel a little bit like they'd like to have a little more lengthy document that supports their committee more than what was proposed, to them, even though I think the language goes on a little further than a lot of the things. But I don't think that they'd be opposed to waiting if you're going to change the whole document anyway. And they still are proceeding the way they always did anyway.
They have had significant autonomy on them. They have not been interfered with
No.
really at all.
No.
As long as I've been with the town. I guess from the recommendations for committee members, I mean, I have always gotten them from
Right.
Marlene.
And I
And
have,
I think the previous chairman, maybe three chairmen before me, always got them from Marlene also.
I have made that comment at the meeting when I was there to that effect. But I says, I'm pretty sure that if a Parks Committee ever got real super cliquey, and you only could nominate from within, that wouldn't be real desirable either.
Right.
Even though at this point, obviously the people they recruit are very positive park people and they get people that work well with them. That was one of the things that they wanted, and I kind of didn't think that was fly here, for sure. It's the chairman's obligation to nominate who he wants to the committee. If you have many people applying for it, you choose the best one.
I mean, it just
Yeah.
past experience with all of these Marlene. But
Well, and like her and others at the committee's point was, you're not gonna get anybody nominated except for who they go and recruit, put forward anyway. And I'm like, well, but that doesn't mean the document should read this way.
Right. I mean, the power resides with the town, the elected officials.
Yes.
And that I will not change. I would not change. I should say.
So they asked me to bring this forward. You got me as liaison to the parks, and I listened to it, and they spent some time on this. But I do agree that if we're gonna be changing all of the town ordinances and going through all of that, that's a time when I'm guessing an attorney is really gonna go through it with a fine comb and make it probably more applicable or familiar with other villages.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, some of it I've been reading, like it says the park committee is accountable for the strategic direction over the park system. I don't know what that means.
very loose. I mean,
I mean, that's like, if it wasn't followed, the Parks Committee would be accountable for that, or are they saying they're the ones that carry it out? Which I would not also be part of because.
I
they're
think
not-
that their attempt at this is that is one of the things they want to do. It's a list of things that they want to be involved with and do.
Right. It says a short range goals for the park committee will aid the park supervisor in identifying any updates or needs in the park system and aid in their resolution and implementation. That's another one that's a little loose for me, I guess. What does that exactly mean? Because the parks, the town employees report to the administrator, not to the parks. Now, we've had a good working relationship together.
The other portion about putting in a, that the board is to put revenue in a budget. Kind of ties the hand of the, well, even though it's only $2,000, it shouldn't be put in the code on,
Right.
for a department that is up to the board to make decisions.
Neither should the account numbers.
The
be
account
listed.
numbers change, and
Yeah.
so could change. We've seen that on our payroll, it has changed, so I would say all of the account information should be removed, tying the town to doing a $2,000 budget every year. That actually takes that away from the town board to make that decision, so.
Right. Item F, while the town hall administers the park rentals, the park committee requests to be consulted regarding special events or rentals of more than one shelter for a specific event. I don't know what that means either. What
Well,
does
you know where
consulted
that
mean?
came from.
I know it, yeah, but I just don't know what that means.
I think it could be worded a little better to where they just get informed of where the rentals are.
I
But
mean, being informed is one thing, but being consulted almost implies permission, which will also
Consulted,
not
yeah.
be granted.
informed is, and there was an agreement up here to inform them of all that, or have that information available to them.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, the rest of these they can do anyway. I
right,
guess, I think this document needs significant work and not to be slighting on it at all. It's just. I think I gotta agree with Kathy as far as we should probably wait till.
well, and I told them that there would probably be an attorney going through this and rewriting a lot of the way this is worded. I told them that probably would happen, that this wouldn't just fly.
I mean, I think having the park committee involved as far as getting input and things when we get to that point, I mean, that's gonna be a major undertaking. That's gonna be coming up. But
Mhm.
how do you feel, Mark?
I just had a couple notes. I don't think that the appointment schedule that they have listed in the second paragraph of the document aligns with the appointment schedule for the rest of the town.
Mean the terms?
No, the term does, but it looks like they want first day of July. I guess I'd recommend that it aligns with all the other ones. I think planning
April.
commission's April.
Summer, April, summer, May, summer, June, July, and August.
Oh,
They're all
Yeah.
staggered.
They should all be in, they should all be done in
End of
April
beginning of
after,
May, yep.
after an election.
They were split up a bit just to give time to talk to people, find people.
Yeah.
Because until you guys get a full-time chairman or one that doesn't work 65 hours a week,
Mhm.
that person is not gonna have time to meet with all those people in a month.
Right.
No.
But they all don't come up at once.
True, that's what it's nice about it. That's literally why it was spread out, I believe. Even though you're right, you would want it to
Usually
be close to when the new boards come into effect, but
Right.
it's pretty close.
Well, they're 3-year terms also, so
Right.
they're not 2-year terms. So if you appointed people, then their turnover, so.
and then it's written in the ordinance proposal that it's at the fire station always for meetings.
And yeah, I took that out when we were talking about it last time, because if we couldn't use the fire station.
Right.
Now it's in our ordinance that that's where it is, although it does say unless otherwise posted, but the same with the time. So I think it's just as you know, we change our town board meetings and our, you know, well, our plan commission is now in one spot, but our town board meetings, depending on the amount of space needed,
Right.
we change, and it's not written in our code specifically where the meeting is going to be held. It's just that it's going to be held and properly noticed as required by statute.
Any other comments or questions? I guess, where's everyone leaning? Where's everybody at?
I guess I would table it to make the revisions and also have input from town attorney. So, I mean, it's essentially creating powers within the town code.
Would you like to do this before we codify code? Would you like to wait until we're getting to the point of codifying our code?
I mean, I think out of, I guess, there's no necessity to create it at this point. I think the codification is not too far off, so I think that only makes sense to continue operating administratively like they are and wait for the codification to occur as it will, as a whole.
Doug, how you feel about that?
So when we do this whole rewrite, that's probably gonna be what, in the middle of next year, you think? Just wondering, because if you are looking at November, or I've just,
It would be
timeline.
after,
is after,
It'd probably be 23 when we
it'd be
codify.
2023.
When we codify. But it doesn't stop them from doing what they do right now.
And
So,
I totally agree, but they requested that this get put in front of the board, and I brought it, and I kind of told them, I don't think it's gonna go the way it's gonna go, at least without an attorney looking at it, and that some of this is a legal formality of how much you can do or whatever, and they know that. And I don't really think, yeah, it's like you said, whether we do anything here tonight or not, it's not gonna change what they're doing.
right? I mean, it, you know, one of the big things I know what they're talking about, their nominations. I mean, I'm gonna be, as long as I'm here, I'm gonna do it this way. So.
And they're pretty confident of that too.
So that's not gonna be an issue.
But it's like, you're not gonna be here forever. Marlene's not gonna be here
Right.
forever, and,
Right.
you know.
And I was trying to see, it looks like they want it in chapter 5. I don't think they are a nuisance, but
yeah. I
chapter,
know, I
chapter
made
8,
that comment when they started it, but. that
Chapter
was
8 would be more
proper
applicable?
placement, So. That's why I thought it'd be best when we codify, we'll look at all of our committees and the makeup of all our committees at that time, and we'll be reviewing them all.
I was trying to look too. I know the planning commission is spelled out in our code, but do we have a formal duties and procedures ordinance for any other subcommittee?
The only other one is the police and fire, that's it.
Yeah. Board of Appeals,
Well,
Board
that's
of
a committee.
Review, Police and Fire Commission are all very short 3-paragraph.
And are governed by statute.
Right.
Like the Board of Appeals and Board of Review are very specific on statute. And so Fire Commission is also. Fire and Police Commission.
Okay, Linda, anything else? Becky, anything?
No, I have no questions.
Becky's muted again.
You're muted, Becky.
Gotcha.
I think that we should just wait. I don't think we should table it because then we have to put it on the next meeting, right?
Put in the motion.
Anyone wish to make that motion? I'll make the motion that we table
Oh,
the updates to the park committee duties and procedures until our code codification.
Second.
Any discussion on the table? All in favor, say aye.
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 I,
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Item 10, unfinished business. A, discussion necessary action regarding the step increase pay structure for the LFD full-time fire staff.
Okay, so we kind of went through the steps and changed step 1 and then added step 4. And but I didn't get a full vote from the board if they were all in agreement to the 4 steps. Step 1 being for the fire department only, full-time. Step 1 is $50,597.10. Step 2 is $55,665.48. Step 3 is $61,232.03. And step 4 is $67,355.23. About that discussion.
From the board. Anything?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Wasn't that, Kathy, didn't you start that already?
No, this is for 2022 step pay.
Oh, okay. And again, please remind me, is it the same rate as what we're paying now?
No, this is the step 1 took the place of step 2 and step 2
Right.
took the place of step 3 and so on. We added step 4.
And I don't remember adding the amount for step 4. Did we do that? I'm sorry if I'm,
That was part of the discussion, was to add that on there.
That was my
Right,
notes from our discussion.
right, but I didn't remember setting the amount. That was all.
That amount that is in step 4 still is lower than all our surrounding communities at their top.
Okay,
It's still lower than Western Lakes, New Berlin, Lake Country, City of Brookfield, Pewaukee, Menominee Falls are all higher.
okay, thanks.
They're still all higher at the top of their, and some of them significantly higher.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Becky, anything?
No, I thought we approved this already.
For them, so mute it from your car. Do you want to do that? On your
We
screen?
had talked about it.
Okay.
We had talked about it.
Okay. Right, I know we talked about step 4 and changing them around. I know that. Okay,
We're answering Becky's question here, Linda, 1 second. We did talk about budgeting, but this is just, I guess,
Guess what?
formally approving it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
We went through and made sure that it was considered when creating the budget, the salary budget, but I wanted to make sure that that all were in agreement of the steps before it was given to the fire department.
Oh, okay.
I would also add that, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
you know, they have an application process out right now. And Lisbon has 4 applicants. Pewaukee has an application process out right now and they got 24. And a lot of that is due to the amount of money that's getting paid out, and how to keep people here and to recruit them is significant, I think. We are far below.
is it the same position, Joe, Doug?
Is it the same position? Yeah, firefighter.
Yes,
paramedic. Yes, full-time
Okay.
firefighter.
I was just-
paramedic.
Okay, all right.
No, I have no component. I do have a question. Is there any incentive pay aside from the steps? As far as they get any other additional certification?
Not at this time. The only one would be if they took an officer position.
Right.
So if they
Or-
became a lieutenant or captain,
Or if they get overtime. Right?
yeah.
Either overtime and or a promotion.
Or their facilities off their shift.
Or bonuses if they're off a shift on in a facility.
So to have a hiring, we have to have what qualifications? Firefighter 1, firefighter 2, and paramedic?
Firefighter 1, paramedic within a year. And, but EMT, they have to be EMT now, paramedic within a year, firefighter 1. And actually, I see Chief Drager is on, if you want to ask her.
Yeah, Chief, to get step 1, they would just have to meet the minimum qualification, which is what?
It's basically what Doug is saying, fire 1, EMT, paramedic within a year, and going through our process and whatnot that we have set up right now.
So is there any difference if somebody comes to us with paramedic certification versus not?
And not currently set up in the system, no, they would get the same wage, but if they don't hit paramedic within that year time frame, then they wouldn't be able to hold the job anymore.
I guess I'm not up and up on the fire side recruiting. Is that maybe a point of emphasis that there would be a differentiation in step 1 for if somebody comes in with the minimum qualifications versus advanced?
We could add that in. It's not currently added in, but we could add that in.
The only thing that I'd have with that is, we have such minimal staffing now that they have to become paramedics. I mean, if you hire somebody and they take up a position and they're not pushed to become a paramedic, that would leave skill sets that need to be there on those full-time positions. Until you start getting where there's multiple people on a shift, you could have lesser people and highly skilled people, but at this point, when there's only 2 on a shift, they really need to both be paramedics. And a lot of that paramedic within a year is because they come in and they say, well, I'm in school now, or I am enrolled in school and I am in this process. So the likelihood of them becoming a paramedic within a year is likely, it's good, so you don't want to discount them.
And I don't want to get my discussion too far off of the pay. But does our current practices allow for advancement to step 2 upon hiring? Should they have additional qualifications, or are we rigid that they start in step 1? Chief, I know you're not in the room. I'll direct that to you.
So every time someone gets hired, they start at that first year step pay, and they wouldn't get the second year step pay until they hit their second year with the department.
Chief, would you just want to describe, I know you're going through the hiring process now. Can you just tell the board where you're at with that and what's all the procedures and the dates and what's all going on and how that works?
Sure. Currently, we are actually having our interviews tomorrow
Hang on, Michelle.
with the 4 app.
Hang on. It's not technically that portion on the agenda. We just gotta be cautious.
Okay, I was just, because he's asking for clarification on what specific credentials and things they have and how the hiring process sorts them out might be relevant. That's why I brought it up. Other than that, and if Mark's not interested in hearing that, I get that. I just thought it might clarify some of his questions
Would you like to hear
on.
that, Mark?
No, I don't, it won't be relevant to my question. I wanted to know if step 1 was rigid, or if, we have the ability to start somebody that has advanced qualifications at a different step. Because I know we added 1, but removed 1, so I'm just nailing down the necessity for having the 4th step. But it sounds like somebody could present with step 1 skill levels and get paid appropriately for it.
Okay. Are you okay with the structure as it's?
Yeah, no, I
presented?
have support of the 4 step with the current practices, and then those steps would be absent the 2%. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All
These
right.
are the 2022.
All right, any other questions or comments on it? Is there a motion on this item?
I have a question, Joe. Do you hear me? Okay. If, when they start and they had no experience at all, that's when we send them over to WCTC for some training that costs us like $6,000. Is that correct? Or am I not understanding this?
When they start with no experience at all, that's paid on call, not full-time. That's when they volunteer and kind of the old school volunteer system where they come on paid on call. And then we do send them to school, but firefighter one and EMT is nowhere near $6,000. That's paramedic training. And
Oh,
the
I
state
gotcha.
actually reimburses on a lot of the fire one and EMT stuff.
Okay. Okay, I gotcha. That was all I had questions for. But I kind of agree with Mark when he said if we hire somebody and they've got more than the basics and they've got more, so you're just saying that even if they got a lot of training, they always have to start at the step one program?
At this point, yes.
Okay. I kind of agree with Mark, I have to say. If they have experience and training, maybe they should be hired right at 2.
Yeah, I guess to formalize where I was going with it is, and this might be more of an administrative thing, not necessarily the pay structure, but my whole,
Okay.
my whole reason for bringing it in is if it is applicable to the pay structure, I think we need to nail it down now, but essentially it's what the industry would call lateral entry or credit for prior service, so, but it doesn't sound like a practice at this point.
So it's up to Michelle to decide that. Is that what you're saying?
I guess Chief, I don't think we have any kind of lateral entry or ability to place people in steps higher than step one.
No, there's nothing set up. Basically, the first year step pay is based on that new person starting being a firefighter and paramedic.
Okay, I gotcha. All right, thank you.
I guess I'm still gonna stay with the support of the current motion, or well, I guess there's no motion yet, but the current way we're trending, but I would ask that we start to explore some options. I don't know if it'd be fruitful for our department, but having the ability to place people within the steps, I think is a valuable recruiting tool. Should they have the skills and with the approval of, I guess it would probably be the fire commission at that point.
Okay.
I would make a comment echoing what he's saying, because in the fire service now, you see a lot of firefighters moving between departments going, they might move because there's more opportunity for promotion, or they move because it's closer to where their family lives or whatever. There is a lot of lateral movement amongst fire departments, more now than probably in history. People are moving from department.
Okay.
Could be open for proposal. I would definitely want some criteria in there though.
Sure.
I don't want to just have it arbitrary. Well, is there a motion?
Okay.
Item we have is presented.
I'll make a motion to nominate as presented.
Second.
By Linda to accept as presented. That was your motion, correct, Linda?
Yes.
And seconded that. Final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 11, Plan Commission recommendations. A, discussion necessary action regarding approval of a 2-lot certified survey map for undeveloped parcels on Richard Road, tax key LSPT 0241.999.002. In front of us, I was not at the last Plan Commission meeting.
Me too. Kathy, do you want to do this one and I can do the others?
So this CSM is for the property at Business Park East. It is a CSM to create 2 lots in the west corner of the property, making one 6.765 acres and the other one 4.162 acres. It has been reviewed created and reviewed by our engineer, and the only change they're looking at is an easement change to see if the easements are necessary between lot 1 and taking it all the way to the far lot line. Otherwise, Plan Commission had approved unanimously.
Easement?
Right next to Richard Road.
Just a drainage easement?
It's a drainage and utility easement.
Is that 100, the 100-foot one?
The 100-foot, yes, the 100-foot one. They're, the engineer is trying to. 100-foot is necessary. What was needed,
Would not exceed 100.
it would not.
Any questions or comments?
And then the land to the east that's on a different CSM?
Yes.
Becky or Linda, any questions?
As well as the lot to the north.
Looks
I
like
don't
we-
have any questions.
Might have
Looks
lost
like we
Linda.
lost Linda.
Doug, any questions?
Nope.
I'll make the motion to approve the 2-lot certified survey map for undeveloped parcels on Richard Road, tax key LSBT 0241.999.002. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Becky, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries 4-0. We have momentarily lost Linda Beal on Zoom. Item B, discussion necessary action ordinance 2021-19 to repeal Town Code Chapter 11, Section 5 related to sign regulations.
The Plan Commission has been going over the sign code and the limitations as it currently stands. This has been something they've been working on since June. With it being in the zoning code, there is no flexibility. If an applicant requests flexibility, they actually have to take it to the Zoning Board of Appeals right now, which requires a public hearing notice and for additional special meeting. And the Plan Commission would like to get the flexibility back that they had prior to putting it into the town code, along with, or I'm sorry, prior to placing it into the zoning code from town code. Along with doing so, we've also tried to streamline the ordinance and bring it down from the wordiness that it was and cut it down just a little bit. So there is a fold-out sign chart saying all of the changes that are notated in red. And there are
That's why
two
we lost Linda.
ordinances. There she is. There are two ordinances, one to repeal the sign regulations from the zoning code and a secondary ordinance to create the sign ordinances within chapter 17 of town code.
So item B is going to be to repeal and item C is going to be to create.
Correct.
All right. Any questions or comments, I guess, on either one of these then? All right, so item C is to repeal Town Code Chapter 11. I would make the motion to approve ordinance 2021-19.
Second.
Second by Mark Moonen. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Then item C, discussion necessary action on ordinance 2021-22 to create Town Code Chapter 17 related to the sign regulations. Anything else to add on that one?
Nope, I think I gave you everything I got.
Anything to add, Becky?
No,
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'd make
I'll
a mo-
make a motion.
I'll support the motion with a second.
You make a motion to approve, Becky?
Yes,
And Mark seconded that motion. All right. Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item D, discussion necessary action regarding termination of the CUP issued to Wexford Heights for a gas station and restaurant with convenience store for the property located at West 260 North 5979 State Road at 164, text the LSPT 0161.999.004.
This would normally just go to the Plan Commission for a CUP termination, but because of the way this one is worded, it actually needs town board approval as well. We did hold the joint public hearing back in the beginning of the month. Plan Commission did make a recommendation to approve the termination, subject with no conditions. My apologies.
Questions from the board? Anything for you, Becky?
No, Mr. Macy explained that we had to do it this way, so
Okay. Is there a motion on this? I'll make the motion to terminate the CUP issued to Wexford Heights for a gas station, restaurant with convenience store for the property located at West 260 North 5979 State Road 164, tax key LSBT 0161.999.004. Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, Mark? Even though this thing took like 40 hours of my life back in 2015. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item E, discussion necessary action on the request by Donovan Steinmetz, they got that right, for the properties located at West 2429 North 7876 and West 2449 North 7844 Hillside Road for approval of the following: a 3-lot certified survey map and ordinance 2021-23 to rezone a portion of LSBT 0202990.001 from A5 mini farm to R1 residential and to rezone a portion of LSBT 0202.989 from R1 residential to A5 mini farm.
This certified survey map and rezone has passed the Plan Commission and recommended for approval.
Questions or comments from the board? Becky, anything to add on this?
no, I don't think so.
All right. Is there a motion on item E then?
We gonna do it one at a time or take them both?
Probably should,
Do one at a time.
One at a time.
so it'd be the 3-lot certified survey map would be the first part.
I'll make a motion, we approve the 3-lot certified survey map for Donovan Steinmertz.
Okay, and Linda has
I'll
seconded
second
that.
that.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And then we have the ordinance 2021-23. Is there a motion on that? I'll move that we approve ordinance 2021-23. Is there a second?
I second.
You got you, Becky. Any final discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Item 12 is closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85 parent E for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, more specifically regarding Brian Builder's offer to purchase. We have a motion to go into closed session.
I still make a motion, we go into closed session.
Moved by Linda, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mark. Roll call vote.
Chairman Osterman,
Aye.
Supervisor Moonen,
Aye.
Supervisor Beal,
Aye.
Supervisor Braham,
Aye.
Supervisor Plotecker.
Aye.
All right, that is a vote 5-0 to go into closed session
I
at
got 8:08.
8:08. Becky, we'll have to either have you call in or I don't know of any other option we have. We'll have to have you call in.
Somebody can just fill me in.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.